Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you are all doing well. We are going towards what could potentially be the craziest mercato of Juve ever. Will it be the greatest mercato ever? Only time will tell. Well, time to actually fulfill all the dreams of Thiago Motta, Cristiano Juventini, we don't have a lot because we know that the mercato is limited in time. Luckily, the head of football of Juventus Football Club already anticipated everyone in that year zero, season 23-24, where he was labeled from a part of the Tifosi as too static, not doing enough. 007 and whatever you want as meme. Well, Cristiano Juventini is working hard to make dreams of Juventini come true. Pay attention to that video where we speak about a lot of things. So put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe. You know it. It is super important for you to help me because it's costing you zero. It's a minimum effort, but it's helping me and the channel so much. So like, subscribe, share with your families and friends and comment because now we start with Khéphren Thuram. One step away, according to Romeo Agresti, according to Fabrizio Romano. Well, Juventus is closing on the deal to sign Khéphren Thuram. A bid already sent to Nice worth 20 million euro. It's a bit and slightly a bit more than we were talking about a few days ago, 80 million euro, 18 million euro. But we are closing on that deal. There is already an agreement with the player. We are going towards it with some bonuses, some easy to reach, some difficult to reach. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, Cristiano Juventini, he was already on the player together with Manna. Don't forget about that last season. We were all dreaming about the Frenchman, the son of Lilian, to be at Juventus, to be a Juventus player already last season because we really believed in his potential. We couldn't. We know that the mercato was really difficult, was closed for Juventus, eliminated from and banned from all the European football competition. Well, we know one thing, when Cristiano Juventini has something in mind, not only he's cooking, but he's like a predator that is watching his prey, and he's waiting, but from the moment that he knows, I can't miss, I will go for it, he's jumping on that prey, he's taking with his grip that prey, and he's bringing it back home. Mamma mia. Am I exaggerating? No, I'm not exaggerating. What we are watching now with Douglas Luiz, with Di Gregorio, with Thiago Motta, that was another prey, and a big prey, a quality prey from Cristiano Juventini is happening. So Khéphren Thuram, close. That close to be Juve player. When will he be announced? Well, it could even possibly be this week. We are only on Tuesday. Who knows if we have a fantastic, beautiful marathon towards the end of the week or maybe beginning of next week. I spoke you in the beginning of that video about year zero, year one. It's something that I pushed a lot here on the channel, receiving so much criticism when we were live or in the comment section of the videos because we saw the words of John Elkann two times. John Elkann in September 2023 saying, Juve, why is this a 0 year? Why is this year zero? We are planning a big future. And then he came back on these words in that special letter to the shareholders in April 2024, repeating it. Per la Juventus è l'anno zero. For Juventus, it is the year zero. Juventini plasmerà il futuro. Juventini will shape the future, a great future. When I spoke about that twice or more in two different time zones, September 23, April 2024, I told you a lot of criticism of people not confident, of people continuing to say, yeah, but no, it's not normal because Cristiano Juventini is already there. It should already be the year one. How many times will we start back the project? How many times this, Beppe, we don't believe it anymore. It's always a project, but we don't see facts. Well, I can say, and you can see it yourself, when we're speaking about the year zero, a year zero is a year where you are not active visibly. It's where you're planning, when you're working, we are doing some projects, when you already start to fill that list, already starting to have these contacts, because Douglas Luiz, it's not from the day of one day or the other. Khéphren Thuram is not from one day to the other. Di Gregorio, Thiago Motta, it's not from one day to the other. And it's actually super fantastic because a lot of these names, Douglas Luiz, Thiago Motta, well, Juventini were not really aware of it. It's true that Thiago Motta already leaked in a way. It was more a wish than a reality. Remember, a few weeks before Allegri was sacked by Juventus, a lot of people were still thinking and a lot of papers were still writing that if Allegri won that Coppa Italia, could even be reconfirmed for 1 year or maybe even extending. Well, we see that a lot of these names on paper from Cristiano Giuntoli, they are in the shadow. We don't know. And that's why we go towards a really crazy mercato that can give us crazy names that we were not even dreaming about. We were not even thinking it was possible. A Douglas Luiz player at his peak from Premier League to Juventus before the 1st of July is something totally crazy. Today we hear about Sancho, we speak about Xavi, Simons, we hear about so many big, huge names, Calafiori, etc., etc., etc. It's totally crazy what Giuntoli and Juventus Football Club are doing. So that year zero, don't underestimate the importance of it. I told you here on the channel how important this was. I was criticized for it. Now see the facts and please tell me if that year one, yes or no, you're starting really to feel it. Now, of course, it's not always as easy as we think or as easy as we want. It's not that everything happens magically and all that these dreams are happening from one day to another, that they are all possible, but at least we are trying. Why is it not that easy? You know that there is one club in Italy, and I'm speaking about over 100 clubs that are participating to professional football. 20 in Serie A, 20 in Serie B, 60 teams, professional team in 3rd division in Serie C. Well, there is one club only that is always in the eye of the justice, of the anti-Juve world, on the courts, on Giuseppe Chiné, on Gravina, and it is Juventus Football Club. Yesterday slightly, and I didn't read any comment because I think that it has been underrated, the importance of the communication about how we signed Douglas Luiz and especially how we sold Barrenechea and Ealing Jr. to Aston Villa. Well, there is only one club on Serie A level, but probably also on earth, that needs to explain how they sell, how they do, why they do, explaining also and putting black on white that they were obliged to go towards external offices to really check if the values of the players were correct or not. It's totally crazy. Why? Because as on today, we still don't know exactly why we were punished. There were no plusvalenza on this you can't do, this you can do, this is allowed, this is not allowed. It's still there. And Juventus, since more than a year, are pushing to understand why, and we still don't know why. So it's really difficult. And also there, we are really limited because everything needs to be double-checked, triple-checked, 4 times checked. I know that a lot of people are asking Beppe, but we should go faster for Douglas Luiz. I remember a few weeks ago, we should go faster. At the moment, nothing happened. Cristiano Giuntoli is doing nothing. It's only blah blah on the papers. Well, that's another reason why, because we need to pay attention to every move that we are doing. And then the other thing why it's always difficult is because there are clubs in Italy that are really reluctant, really difficult when it's dealing with Juventus, because for Juve it's one price and for the other clubs it's another price tag. We know it in the past. We already spoke about the Sassuolo strategy that were open to help every club on earth in Italy, especially Roma, Inter, etc., etc. But when it came to Juve, multiple times it was extremely difficult. And now we are seeing again the same with Calafiori, where Bologna said it yesterday. Sartori, he confirmed yesterday, I think he will not end up joining Juventus. Probably he can go abroad in case we decide to sell him. We would love and like to keep Calafiori, so let's see what happens. So they want to keep him, and we know it, and it's maybe totally correct as well, because they will play Champions League. But if they need to sell, well, abroad. And then we are complaining here that Juventus Football Club is not helping La Nazionale Italiana because we don't have Italian players in our team enough. We are not playing with Italian because we need to blame Juventus because we don't play enough with Italian players. Well, Juventus is going for Italian players, but then the Italian players, the Italian clubs, you don't want to sell them. Fratesi, Italian player that Juventus was really on and he didn't come. Why? Because the requests were crazy for Juve, not for Inter. Calafiori, look at that, we found an agreement, then they decided to change it. It's crazy. Arsenal is on the player, there are other big teams on the player, where Bologna would prefer to sell them to the other clubs abroad instead of keeping them in Italy. It's looked like, and it has not been said black on white, but looks like there is really that anti-Juve pact. And then anti-Juve world, they can complain, but you think it's always turning around Juventus and you're always complaining you want to be at the center of the attention. But then when we are seeing facts, we are speaking about reality. Now, is it over for Calafiori? No, it's not over. Because I told you, the agent, etc., etc. Really great relationship. But in the meanwhile, Calafiori already found an agreement with Juve. In terms of salary, in terms of length, he wants to come to Juve. So Juventus is strong of that position of the player, and they will continue to push to have the player. Of course, until a certain roof. They are ready, and they understand also that they need to increase a bit the initial offer, but they can't totally go crazy. So is it over? No, but it will be a really tough one. To create that dream Juventus of a Di Gregorio, that is already a Juve player, even if he has not been announced yet. Danilo, but yesterday, pay attention. I tell you here today on the 2nd of July, Yankauto, 1 year of contract. Player owned by Manchester City. Pay attention to that name with that pink hair. That last season I watched a lot of Girona, especially in that fire moment. Yankauto is a fantastic player, young player, double citizenship, not only Brazilian because that's impossible, but also, and luckily, that Portuguese passport. Couto or Danilo, you have a Bremer, you have a Calafiori, you have a Cambiaso to form that four-man defense. Douglas Luiz is already announced by Juve. Next to him, the one that can become a Juventino in the next few days, Khéphren Thuram. And then you have on the left side, Kenan Yildiz, that we are not speaking enough about, but that's crazy because he could potentially be the new number 10 of Juve. We have a Koopmeiners that is there and a Sancho. Before speaking about Sancho, and then of course Vlahovic on top that I was about to forget, but if we have these 10 players, we don't need Vlahovic to score goals because the goals will be crazy. I'm joking. Of course we need a fantastic number 10. But before speaking about Sancho, let me come back on Koopmeiners. Koopmeiners is exactly the same situation as the one of Calafiori. Atalanta, they don't want to sell him. Or at least not to Juventus. They are doing difficult. 60 million, that's 60 million. Otherwise, he stay here or he goes in another club. Remember, they had talks already with Manchester United, and probably for United it would have been 50, for Juve it's 60. Will Juventus give up on Koopmeiners? No, but it takes time. It takes really time to understand. Now, Sancho, a reality, yes or no? I told you, for me it's a fantastic option, really great player, young player, international appeal. Well, Sancho, we know it already. I told you, it's first Dortmund that has priority, but they are not sure if they have the money to collect and to go to Manchester United. But Juventus is there waiting, and Juventus, they wanted to go for him only on a loan with a part of the salary paid by Manchester United. Well, Juventus thinking about it, finding the strategy with Cristiano Giuntoli, they have possibly a key, and one of the key could be Federico Chiesa to Manchester United, with Sancho in a formula that we don't know yet at the moment, could possibly be a Juventus player. A deal that would work or not, again, also there, super difficulty in terms of level, but Juventus is really trying for Sancho to Juventus, and I believe Sancho to Juventus would be fantastic, like another player that we spoke about on the 24th of June. Remember that video I made? First, yes, about who? About Khéphren Thuram, and then I put that Dutch shirt, the Netherlands shirt with that number 10, probably the one of Johan Cruyff, and I told you Dutch 10 with mysterious Dutch number 10. Do you remember that video? Well, on the 24th of June I told you Koopmeiners is the priority. Juventus is trying. If it flops, there is still that joker of Zirkzee that, as we speak, Milan didn't sign, and there is that fantasy name, not with a lot of percentages of succession, but more and more now it's starting to be a reality. We're speaking about Xavi Simons that will not stay at Paris Saint-Germain, will go on loan again, one more year. Well, Xavi Simons for the first time today finished on Gazzetta dello Sport, still small, still there in a corner, written really small, without putting in bold. You know, it's like, but it's for the first time that Gazzetta dello Sport is speaking about Xavi Simons. That Juventus is starting to investigate about the young Dutch player. They are asking information to Paris Saint-Germain. They are saying Thiago Motta is not crazy. It's not the priority of Thiago Motta, but pay attention, pay attention. Because they arrive 8 days later. 8 days later, so it's a news that we already have since 8 days that we are speaking about on the channel. 8 days later, we are hearing it from the first time to Gazzetta dello Sport. It means that Juventus is working on it probably more than what Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting to us today. So we have a lot here. And of course, to make all these dreams come true, we need to sell. We need to sell and we need to save on money. Imagine if you are able to save the money of Rabiot, the money in terms of salary of Alexandro, the money of Szczesny, That would be huge for Juventus. By the way, Szczesny, he spoke to Food Truck TV, Polish YouTube channel, on the 19th of June. So it's not fresh, it's not news. Today, I don't know why that quote of Szczesny became viral, but actually it's a news from the 19th of June that someone, Polish friend Jan, already translated for me, where he spoke about his future. He spoke about a lot of things, about Allegri, that helped him so much at Juventus, gave him trust, especially in his difficult moment, etc., etc. And then he finished with something super important when he says, if Juventus wants me to leave, I will leave, as a way to say thank you for all these years. Fantastic. Fantastic words. He said even more. I put it in the Telegram group, the entire translation, if you want to read what Szczesny said. Beautiful words from the goalkeeper of Juventus at the moment, that already said, I will leave Juventus. If they ask me to, I will, because I want to help the team that gave me so much. Guys, what can we say? I think that we can close that video only with a big applause for Szczesny, for the way that he is, for the man that he is. If only more players were like Szczesny, would be really nice. Grazie, forza, Juve.